Running kind of shotgun primary here. Hi guys, Matthias, and yes, the first part of the Battlefield 6 beta has ended, and I have had a mostly positive experience, I must say, but it is not without mixed feelings. I have primarily been playing the engineer class because it's been so frustrating to see all these tanks driving around, farming everyone, and I'll be the first to admit it, I have done it myself a little bit also. In this video, however, you're only going to see footage of me playing the Assault class, where you by default have not only a shotgun but also a grenade launcher additional to your primary weapon. And as much as these weapons are the cause of a lot of frustration for other players, especially looking at previous titles, playing the Assault class also has its own frustration moments. No ammo! And yes, this brings me to one of the things that I find to be rather positive with the Battlefield 6, and that is that kit switching is back again, very similar to how you have it in Battlefield 1 and previous titles before that. Now, with customization and, all these attachments that you have for different weapons, picking up somebody else's kit is going to be much more of a gamble than it was for us in Battlefield 1, where the predictability was much higher. Now, I don't know about other players' experience, but for me playing Assault, I actually played the shotgun primary more than with the assault rifle or carbine or whatever I was using. Stop shooting me! Shotguns are good. Now obviously a lot of people are asking me about whether or not this is a game I'm going to buy, whether I want to pre-order it, or what I think about it in general. Now luckily I don't feel like I really have to answer that yet, because we have another beta coming in just a couple of days, where hopefully we're going to see some, at least to me, more interesting maps with a bit more of the large-scale typical Battlefield gameplay that has made us fall in love with the Battlefield franchise in the first place. Overall, however, I had a good experience. I had a lot of fun with this game. I played it a lot. I streamed every minute of playing it, and that is all still up there on my main channel. Now, there has been a lot of disappointed voices that have been venting their frustration. I've seen a lot of angry comments during the streams, and to some degree I not only understand it, but also agree with some of the comments that I've seen. I want to point out that the Battlefield franchise has had a few rough years with two, let's say, underwhelming titles being released after the success of Battlefield 1 in 2016, and what this has created, among other things, is a number of cliches, a number of go-to arguments that people that are, just generally negative about, either this Battlefield 6 or the Battlefield franchise as a whole, with the most notorious one being COD. Yes, every time somebody mentions Call of Duty in any way, shape or form, especially in a beta or the early stages of a Battlefield game, that is a very negative, kind of ragey type comment. But it is also kind of washed out by now. Let's just say that the Call of Duty inflammatory arguments are a bit inflated in 2025. We still understand where it comes from. So now, as much as I am very much for the kit switching aspect being back again, it's really irritating that it uses the same key as revive, meaning interact is both for kit switching, opening doors, reviving, and so on and so forth. And I can only assume that what happened here, ending up with two grenade launches in one kit, is a bug related to kit switching. Now here you can see a typical moment for why I would switch from the engineer class to the assault class. In the bathtub! Now obviously during a beta we have a lot of bugs, a lot of unfinished features, and as far as I can remember there was graphical glitches in every beta I've tried out in the Battlefield franchise so far. Here's another one. However, one of the most frustrating aspects of the Battlefield beta, or maybe the most frustrating aspect, is something that I believe is actually working as intended, and that is the spawn system. Now, as far as I can remember, this level of frustration is actually very similar in Battlefield 2042. Maybe I'm wrong about that. If so, correct me in the comment section. But the fact that you spawn in the beginning of the round without having any chance of controlling this yourself drives me absolutely crazy. Now, there's nothing unusual with, you going to the bathroom or grabbing a cup of coffee or doing something in between rounds, and then coming back to the game a minute or two later, you see yourself being spawned in the headquarters with no vehicles and all the action far, far away. It is just super frustrating, but it doesn't end there. Spawning in on teammates is also really, really irritating or buggy or whatever it is, where not only does it seem like this whole being in combat or being suppressed, I guess it is, lasts much longer or denies you spawn for a much longer period of time, but if one player is suppressed next to a cluster of players or a cluster of players and or a spawn beacon, then obviously you should be able to spawn in on the other player or the spawn beacon. But no, the square section that will turn red if you can't spawn in will supersede the other spawn points. So not only can you not spawn in on that said player, but that said player will also deny spawn points on anything else in that area, unless you can find that little slice of green as the players move around where it allows you to spawn, which was a little bit harder than it may sound. Now, on top of all that, I also share the frustration of people being disappointed with the user interface. A little bit hard to navigate and a bunch of unnecessary clicks to get to what you want to do. And as much as the practice range was very, very valuable for infantry player getting your settings right and all that, all the key bindings and the mouse sensitivity and so on and so forth, the lack of something similar for vehicle gameplay was really, really frustrating. And for me, who really wanted to try out the helis and the jets, the process of getting my settings correct just prevented me from even trying for the most part. I think I got one kill with a heli over the entire initial beta. Anyway, the game was running relatively smoothly, and unfortunately I've had the experiences of the beta running much, much better than the finished game in several Battlefield titles in the past. So this actually makes me a little bit nervous for the release of this game in October. My processor can barely handle this game while streaming and recording for this type of videos. So if the next beta and then the full release gets any heavier on my processor, yep, that's gonna be a problem. My last shotgun shot. I need ammo! Also want to point out that hipfire is not recommended in this game, even if you play engineer where you have the hipfire perk. And yes, I'm comparing with Battlefield 1, of course. I'm out of ammo! I have no ammo! Where's my ammo? Alright. So yeah, during this first beta I did a lot of streaming. I think I did one even full 8-hour stream, and you can expect something similar when the next beta hits. I do stream on my main YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Let me know what you think about all of this, and yeah, thank you all for watching.
We're targeting objective Delta.
Our forces are attacking objective Charlie.
Ah, out of ammo.